The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.
So me and Jada was reflecting about love. And I asked her, I said, what did she think was, one of the biggest revelations that she had about love? She said that you cannot make a person happy. And I thought that was a real deep idea. You can make a person smile, you can make a person feel good, you can make a person laugh, but whether or not a person is happy is deeply and totally and utterly out of your control. I remember the day I retired. I literally said to Jada, that's it. I retire. I retire from trying to make you happy. I need you to go make yourself happy and just prove to me that it's even possible. And after we cracked the hell up, that we were choosing to walk our separate journeys together. But her happiness was her responsibility, and my happiness was my responsibility. And we decided that we were going to find our individual, internal, private, separate joy. And then we were going to present ourselves to the relationship and to each other already happy, not coming to each other begging with our empty cups out, demanding that she fill my cup and demanding that she meet my needs. It's unfair and it's kind of unrealistic and can be destructive to place the responsibility for your happiness on anybody other than yourself.
Unhappy with myself, unhappy with everyone else. This is the topic of the program tonight. And we were listening there to Will Smith. Very true what he was saying, right, Miller?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot come with an empty cup and expect that the other person will fill up the cup for you.
Mm-hmm.
Your happiness is not someone else's responsibility. You cannot demand your happiness from other people. No, you have to be happy first before you start a relationship.
Yeah. That's why he said, I retired from trying to make her happy. When you find your own happiness, then you come to me and we'll go from there.
Yes.
We'll start a relationship again.
Yes. and when a person is unhappy, the same is when a person is unhappy, they cannot blame on others. The unhappiness of the person is not the responsibility of other person. If you're unhappy, there must be something broken inside of you. It's like Mila. This happens a lot with people who suffered in their childhood, growing up. They suffered a lot, growing up. What do? They try to find a partner who will do for them what their parents never did. What no one ever did for herself, for him. They want someone in the world to fill their void.
Yeah, to compensate for all the sufferings, the shortcomings, and they don't even put their own part in the relationship. They just expect this person to do all the work. No, because I suffered, because I had a traumatic past.
Yeah, I never had a father. I was never loved by my mother. Yeah. My family was never there for me. I just suffered. Now you, my boyfriend, you, my girlfriend, you, my partner, you are the solution of all my problems.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to fill this void, this empty space inside of me.
And they always, whenever there's a confrontation, a problem, they always like to play the victim. Oh, but you don't understand what I went through. But in reality, that person needed to be happy before, on her own, on his own, before entering into a relationship. Nobody can make you happy.
Exactly.
Only God.
Exactly. Only God. When you find God, when you find yourself,
mm-hmm.
and that's why, Mila, we are talking about rebuilding.
Yes.
Because this This is what happens with people who are broken inside, destroyed inside. They want other people's to solve their problem, to make them happy. But no, if you want to be happy in a relationship, you must first be happy with yourself. If you want to be happy in a relationship, you need to be happy with yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, look at that.
Right. And I've known, even in my family, people, my own mother, she had so many failed relationships because she was never fixed from the inside. You know, she had everything to be happy with my father.
Yeah.
You know, he was offering her everything, but she still had that void. And I lost count of how many relationships she tried to make work, but she could never make it work.
She was married many times,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that all the men she tried with,
They're all bad men.
yes.
Right?
The problem was she was broken
Yeah.
inside, right?
Yeah, that's why many people, they have multiple relationships. They can never make it work because they haven't worked on themselves yet. They haven't rebuilt themselves yet.
That's right. Let's go to the streets. Let's see what's the word on the streets. What people talking about happiness.
Today, we'll be getting people's views on whether they believe in the idea that they can be happy within themselves rather than depending on their partner to be happy in their relationship. Let's find out the word on the street. Do you believe in the idea that you need to be happy within yourself first rather than being dependent on your partner to be happy in a relationship?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% be happy with yourself. You can't be happy in a relationship if you're not happy.
I mean, it depends on the person in itself, I guess, because like some people can just learn so much more through a partner, but then it's also another view wherein like people try to find themselves within somebody else, and I don't really think that also works out as well, you know?
I think that the most kind of fulfilled life is to find the happiness within yourself first.
To a degree, yes. I think you need to have a certain level of confidence and happiness in yourself, but I also think there is happiness that partners can bring to you as well.
Okay, we have to be happy by ourselves first, yeah. That's the main thing.
I think it's unfair to burden your partner if you're not emotionally mature to do so. To be in a relationship, I mean.
I feel that happiness comes within you and you should never rely on someone else for that, because I feel like it can affect your mental health.
You know, if you feel comfortable about who you are and what you're doing in life, I wouldn't depend on the other person being happy as well to go into a relationship necessarily.
I've been in situations where it can kind of turn into a codependency, and you just sort of, it can get toxic when you're not secure in yourself and you start to project your feelings of lower self-worth or whatever onto someone else, or the reverse happens, and it can kind of turn something beautiful into something really ugly. So you have to have those issues sorted out beforehand.
Have you ever been in a relationship with someone, or were you someone who was very emotional and dependent on your partner?
To be honest, I think when I'm in relationships, I do get quite dependent just on having that person there all the time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being emotionally dependent on somebody, as long as that's not all it is.
I've been in both situations. I've been in one where someone was very emotionally dependent on me, and it turned into less of a partnership and more of me taking a caretaker role, which, I mean, I'm only 22 and this was happening when I was like 19, 20. It was just far too much for me to handle. And then on the other hand, I've been in one where I was too emotionally dependent and kind of like romanticize this other person as like a savior, which isn't really fair either, because you kind of have to take care of yourself to a certain extent. So
it can be slightly toxic in the way that they depend on another person like that, and in some ways it's just better to break it off and to just learn to just depend on yourself entirely, I'd say.
Like, I know some people that maybe not emotionally dependent, but I've got friends that don't like being single. They don't feel fulfilled if they're alone, which for me I find quite sad. Like, you should be happy to have it both ways, either be single or be in a relationship.
Yeah, I've been in both, and it's not easy, and I don't think it's fair on either person to do that. One of my ex-partners had a lot of trauma from a past relationship, and then I was being judged against that past relationship, which I think is unfair because you have to start clean slate. I'm a different person compared to that. And it's a different relationship.
Yeah, I definitely was. I'm 29 now, and I think from a young age, school and everything, I used to have that feeling of, oh, someone else can make me happy. And then now I've learned you should never do that. And I'm finding happiness myself, and I'm much happier now.
I was in a very emotionally dependent relationship for about 6 years.
Is that from your side or from your partner's side?
Definitely from my side, I think.
So did it work, or did it reach a point where one of you just couldn't take it anymore?
Yeah, I think it reached a point where I needed to be by myself and just be single for a few years and just learn how to be independent again.
Well, when it was someone depending on me, I couldn't take it anymore. And the other way around, I think they couldn't take it anymore. So neither of them worked.
I think it's contributed to breakups, sort of being like, I don't want to be your mother. I don't want to just look after you. Like, that's not what this is. That's not what this is supposed to be. I think that has been a contributing factor, but I don't think anybody's ditched me because I was too emotional to them. Yeah.
So have you done that to someone else?
It wasn't the only reason, but I think it has contributed to why I've broken up with people. Yeah.
You've heard some interesting opinions. What do you think? Tune in tonight at 11 p.m. on the Love Talk Show.
You see there how many people they make the person as well in a relationship, Mila, the husband, the wife, the center of the attention. It's very common for this to happen. For one partner to be more devoted to making the other happy without receiving any recognition. And they get frustrated. And you know, Mila, we are talking about the secret of happiness. The secret of happiness. And I think the happiness cannot be the goal. Look, happiness cannot be your goal. I want to be happy. If you say, I want to be happy, I want a relationship so I can be happy, I want to find someone to make me happy, you are set for failure. Happiness cannot be a goal. Listen to this. Write it down, students. Write it down. Happiness cannot be your ultimate goal. It can't be. Because if it is, then you are becoming a very selfish person, egocentric, narcissistic. You only think about yourself. And no person being selfish, egocentric, has ever been happy. Because for you to be happy, you need other people. You can't be happy being selfish, only think about yourself. So happiness can never be the goal. You know how you reach happiness? Treat happiness as a reward.
It's the end result.
Yeah, no. Happiness is a reward. You don't go for it.
No, it comes to you.
Your goal is, the point is, your goal is to have a good relationship with others. This has to be your end goal. Happiness is a treat. Happiness is a reward. It's a consequence. Okay, but it can never be your end goal. It can never be the end. No. This is a treat.
Yeah, it's the
a
consequence
reward.
of giving to others, right?
It's just a consequence. Okay, it's gonna come naturally.
First Lady Michelle Obama revealed during an interview on Good Morning America about her best-selling book, Becoming, that she shares the same thought as Will, that taking care of her marriage meant putting herself first.
What I learned about myself was that my happiness was up to me, and I started working out more. I started asking for help, not just from him, but from other people. I stopped feeling guilty. It's important for me to take care of myself. That's not on Barack.
The couple have been together for 30 years and are the parents of 2 daughters. Happiness begins with self-love, a concept that some celebrities have taken some time to understand. A few years ago, British supermodel and actress Cara Delevingne spoke about her self-hatred and depression, which led her to suicidal thoughts at the age of 15. Though admitting to have had a privileged upbringing, she struggled to like herself. I was packing my bags and suddenly I just wanted to end it. I had a way, and it was right there in front of me, and I was like, I need to decide whether I love myself as much as I love the idea of death. However, the model found a way to beat her dark thoughts through physical work, like chopping wood and doing DIY. She also stated that her career move into acting has given her more of a sense of purpose and made her happier within herself. No matter what happens on the outside, when a person is happy within themselves, they have a solid foundation that will allow them to have fulfilled relationships with others. Only then can they create their own recipe for happiness. You will learn more about this on tonight's program.
Very nice indeed. Very nice. And this Thursday is going to be the beginning, the kick start of this purpose that we are going to do. Okay? The rebuilding myself purpose. And look at that. Rebuilding myself. Why? Because for you to build anything in your life, first, you need to have a strong foundation. A solid foundation. You need to build yourself first from the inside. The foundation is what is inside of you. Everything else outside, relationships, everything else is the building, is the house. But the foundation is what is inside of you. So when you see someone unhappy in a relationship and making the other person even more miserable, more unhappy than they already are, all these are signs that the person is broken inside. How many marriages they end because of a problem on the exterior? Everything collapses because they never had this structure. They never had this foundation inside. And that's why the marriages don't last.
The Love Talk Show on Liberty Radio.